also a perfect one. One fight with one win, representing Fight Company Belgrade from Serbia, VELJKO ALEKSIC. Fighters to the center, please, for your final instructions.
So welterweight at under 77 kilograms, 3 FNC MMA rounds, 2 very, very top prospects. Those are the numbers, Chris. Anything we need to know?
Yeah, 2 things I would say. Both very young, both undefeated. This is going to be the best version of an opponent they faced at this point in their career.
Well, to liken anyone to Giorgio Petrosian is high praise indeed, and if anyone would know, Miran Fabian would know. But let's just see how this plays out. And already we're seeing that ALEKSIC, southpaw fighter, switch hits back, trying to outfox his opponent. Relaxed start to this. They're not looking to engage. Ooh, big overhand right, sails over the head of his opponent. And ALEKSIC just keeping distance. Budimir doing the same, posting out, switch hitting. Throwing some curves here for each other to try and create. Very, very difficult target. Transitions are smooth. Reverse spinning back kick there after coming off the Miwashi, but a bit sloppy, bit low. Now I get the feeling things are going to start to warm up as they've got the range.
Nice early test here from both fighters. Budimir's got to be the boss. That's one of the keys to this fight. ALEKSIC is such a tricky switch-hitting kicker that Budimir's just got to punch him hard and punish any of those single kicks, any of the kicks he throws without setting him up.
Well, so far, I think it was very generous comparing him to Giorgio Petrosian. Very generous indeed. But awkward style. He's evading a little bit of what ALEKSIC is throwing. It's all a little bit scrappy for me at this level. Good shot to the midsection from Budimir. They're up on the wire. Will they want to take it to the ground? It's going to be interesting to see if they do. The kickboxing records of both of them say a lot, but actually so does the grappling.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see if this thing does go down to the ground. Both, again, are so comfortable in a lot of their matchups of being the respected fighter, right? The fighter who came in with a really strong amateur run, the fighter who was debuting in MMA and now undefeated in MMA. So there is a lot of respect, I think, between the pair now, given the caliber of opposition they're facing in this cage.
Yeah, and as you said, I mean, they're still very young. I mean, ALEKSIC just had his pro debut 2 months ago. That was against Milos Dobras, FNC medalling. The comparison to Giorgio Petrosian, I'm squinting, I'm trying to see it, I'm not seeing it. It's good solid work from both of them, but they're young fighters and I'm not seeing that high level of skill, that control, that knowledge that comes with that former name. But I'm not going to get bogged down with that. They're trading punches. We're just under 2 minutes in the first and they're landing them. But, not an awful lot to block, not an awful lot to get out of the way. And a little bit of monkey business we're seeing there from Budimir. I don't know how that's going to pay dividends because he's just taking them straight down the line, right through the front door. No guard, no movement of the head, just taking the shots.
Yeah, the jab to the uppercut or the double jab for ALEKSIC is going to be key. But Budimir was finding so much success with his right cross that he felt comfortable coming in and then extending hard on that punch because he has a little bit of reach in this fight.
Yeah, well, just in the close encounter, a little bit of work from the knees and the uppercut there. And Budimir showboating He's moving the head, but not at the right times for me. And those shots are being fired in, and they're just landing on target. The head seems to be very static. Starting to, almost from my lips to his ears, starting to engage that. Half a minute left in the first. It's been a stand-up affair so far. And I would venture that whilst there's been some shots on target, it's not been the most polished performance, but they are still so young.
Yeah, it's a tricky puzzle. It's a tricky puzzle for both fighters. Again, it's like it's your first time as a professional going in and having to unpick some stuff in the first 5 minutes against real high-quality opposition. I can't stress that enough.
Lovely turn with the elbow strike thrown in there by Budimir. We're at the end of the first. A lot to analyse about what went on there. And if I seemed critical of the crispness of the work involved here, it wasn't to be critical, it was to be analytical. And within that, there's a lot to dissect, Chris. We'll have a look at the tail of the tape and see where the opportunities lay and where they were missed.
Yeah, Budimir did a nice job with particularly the cross. We saw some really nice kicks coming in from ALEKSIC. Here we go, Budimir just crashing. That's when he actually was able to force the back there in the last 30 seconds. Budimir had more forward pressure in my view, but he didn't really set things up with the jab, and he certainly ate quite a few from, there we go, we saw a lovely shifting punch there from ALEKSIC. ALEKSIC had a good jab a few times, some really solid uppercuts and some kicks, but Budimir predominantly with the right cross, and of course the forward pressure. Very close round.
We go to 2. And this is going to test them now. They've had a chance to have a look-see. Let's see what they can come up with. Both unbeaten. They'll want to keep that record. But in terms of crispness and defence, for me, Budimir needs to fix up, or he's going to take a shot that's going to end this pretty quickly. That post of the lead right hand, I think, is confusing Budimir. ALEKSIC keeping range, keeping distance, and switch hitting, throwing curves, confusing Budimir. Now Budimir starting to use that head to get out of the way, duck under, and evade and move to the left or the right. So slip some of the most obvious shots from ALEKSIC, but comes back with his own. Chris, you mentioned the overhand right. He's waiting to try and drop that on, but eats a kick on the way in. Very monosyllabic in terms of strikes. These are one strikes, there's no combinations here, there's no finesse in terms of the build-up to an offensive. You know, it's one shot and throw caution to the wind, and let's see if I can, you know, chuck the penny in the jar.
Yeah, there's a lot of you go, I go, you go, I go, and it almost feels like a sparring match or a drill. I'm wondering where the head movement is from Budimir, where's the jab from Budimir, and why ALEKSIC isn't being a little bit more disciplined, right? He's kind of getting baited into these scrappy exchanges. I feel like technically he has more options, and he's just not playing them in quite the right order.
So, all that IMMAF amateur experience, and we're not seeing anyone go to the ground. Headlock on, tries for the guillotine, slips down for the double leg, has to give it up. Budimir defends it. ALEKSIC persevering, tries a little Kosotogaki round the back there to sweep his man out, desperately trying to get some reward for that effort. But Budimir very rangy, you're right, Chris. That left hand, you'd have wanted to see that in a jab, wouldn't you? He posts almost from an upright position, but he's down now. I don't think he's weak enough for anyone to finish it at this stage, but the long road to, obviously, the ultimate position to be in has just started. But Budimir defending, making life awkward for ALEKSIC, and ALEKSIC cannot get him to the ground no matter what he does. So although he's had to give up his back, he's turtled up now, and that's what he was after, and that's good work, Chris.
Yeah, it was lovely. He was able to split the legs and then pick the far side ankle. Didn't quite work, but then was able to expose the back and drag him down. Very smart. Nice to see him quickly attack the back too, right? You don't really want to get into a protracted clinch position when you can slip a hook or two in and jump to this, and he did it.
Well, the key thing here for me is the body triangle. He's locked that on, and life is going to be very difficult for Budimir. We've still got 1.5 minutes left in this first round, and he's going to try and get an RNC on. And look at that, ALEKSIC trying to get that forearm under the chin, but Budimir defending, and this is tough territory.
It's nice to see ALEKSIC trying to get the arms around the side of the neck. And the pressure on the jaw was good. Now he aborts. Very tricky from Budimir. Nice. He felt him sort of trying to go to mount and scrambled really hard. That's the time when you want to spend energy, right? Triangle.
This is tricky. Hasn't quite got it in the right position. But, now he has. And now we could be in for something that's interesting. Oh, look at that crank on the arm. Oh, rolled out beautifully. And there's the pressure. Can he straighten that arm out now? Rolls through. This is great grappling. Oh, can he get that elbow straightened out? Doing everything he can.
That was nuts. He went omoplata, then he had Americana, then he went reverse triangle. Look at this attack here from ALEKSIC.
Just under half a minute left. Has he got enough time to make this count? No, he hasn't. Budimir slipped out, and this is top-level grappling. What they've, lacked in the stand-up in terms of precise work, they've definitely made up on the ground. Look at this. Is great. ALEKSIC looking to finish here. Omoplata.
He might be able to finish this, Will. He's got it. He got the really, really, really most important detail, and that was getting the grip deep there around the arm and then getting above his opponent's hips. You see him reaching around the back, actually grabbing the opposite inside of the thigh. Technically brilliant performance here from ALEKSIC.
Yeah, the bell went, and that saved Budimir, but Budimir was under pressure right from the very first time that he gave up his back, and that triangle, the body triangle, went on. Yeah, good effort from both fighters. So talk us through how it got there.
Yeah, again, we just saw the distance break down quite a bit, and as you alluded to, Budimir just wasn't using his reach enough. ALEKSIC, a little sharper boxing on the inside, ultimately got the takedown. He exposed the back, and then we saw these sequences. Look at that. Beautiful. Grabs the elbow, flips him over, sweeps him with it, right? Actually thought about going straight armbar, couldn't get it, then converted to a reverse triangle.
So, exciting stuff in prospect for us. FNC have had a lot of first-round finishes in recent fights. These matchups tonight, well, they're going all the way, it seems. So, we come now into third and final. Let's see how this plays out for VELJKO ALEKSIC and Antonio Budimir. Budimir from Austria, ALEKSIC from Serbia. Top high-level players, amateur, IMMAF amateur veterans with notable records and performances there. Stand up. Well, not the strongest I've seen, but it's been effective. But this is where it gets very, very spicy. Double leg takedown. A little bit of a scramble, but he gets his man where he wants him. And ALEKSIC goes to work on the ground game. He feels he must have the edge there, Chris.
Yeah, and again, it was just a bit spotty takedown defense from Budimir. He tried to grab almost with double overhooks, which is not really optimal. I would have loved to see him grab at least one underhook. Maybe he thought he could stuff the head of ALEKSIC because ALEKSIC, he went double and then went single. So nice to see him get the complete in the middle of the cage, which is often a little bit more tricky too.
So being stymied from the bottom. ALEKSIC trying to work Budimir into a position. Definitely the more aggressive fighter on the ground. Budimir doesn't want to live there. Goes to the upright, goes for his own shoot. Doesn't quite pull it off. Guillotine on there. Will ALEKSIC try and work it? Will he invest in it? Side control. He's going to try to get them out. So from that position, ALEKSIC finds himself able to take the back, almost, of Antonio Budimir. Happy with a bit of ground and pound. Budimir having to give up the back, having to turn in, but he's still making life very difficult for VELJKO ALEKSIC. But ALEKSIC now in a good position tactically.
This was so important because Budimir actually tried to get him with an anaconda off that sprawl, and it was nice to see ALEKSIC just so resilient, so persistent, and that's been, I think, the big story of this fight. Is it was a tough match. It was a tough matchup for both guys, and in potentially one round apiece going into this third round, ALEKSIC, he's putting his mark on this, Will.
So seemingly all over this, ALEKSIC not giving up that back control. Doing everything he can to work round and get the legs hooked in. There's one. Budimir defending. You can see the exhaustion starting to set in for Budimir. That's been a lot of work keeping ALEKSIC at bay. ALEKSIC passes. And now, what can he do if Budimir makes a mistake at this stage? Just one little slip of light through the crack, and ALEKSIC will be in. He's doing a good job so far, up on the wire, making life difficult for ALEKSIC.
It was nice to see ALEKSIC actually use the cradle to open up this position. He nearly was able to slide to a head and arm choke, but the most important thing was to keep a dominant position, whether it be the mount or the back. He's fishing here. He's gone fishing for the last round in this as far as all the submissions go, but it's been key to make sure he maintains position. And it was a big adaptation, right? It was all stand up in the first round.
Yeah, he's a minor 49er. He's looking for something in the ground there. And he might just get it. If Budimir makes one error, you can see he is so intent on a finish. And I mean, in terms of scoring, if it goes the distance, ALEKSIC by a country mile, the aggression, the ground and pound, the attempts at takedown, the success on the ground, and seemingly much more strength to ragdoll his man down to the ground. Budimir just manhandled into position, but there's a bit of flair, a little bit of escapology. Doesn't pull it off. I think he finds himself exposed here now. Budimir's made life really difficult for ALEKSIC. He's not allowed him in at any stage. And there we have it. He survived. It was a good technical bout in the end.
A very good technical bout, and I think a fight where both fighters are going to take technical lessons, right? This is still coming of age for both. They're both so young, and they've quite clearly got a lot of plays in the book, and it was a bit of a struggle in that first round to be able to get the playbook open and flowing, but for me, ALEKSIC in those last couple of rounds was absolutely, I think, very, very focused and changing the game plan to the good.
And it's great because these are young prospects. You know, it's easy to be harsh, but you look 22, 23, definitely made up for any striking, let's just say, middle of the road work with their grappling. That was top class. But yeah, definitely made up for that. And yeah, two prospects to watch. One of them's got to win, one of them's got to lose. To the judges' scorecards. Chris, do you want to venture?
Yeah, VELJKO ALEKSIC 2-0.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of those three completed rounds of action, we go to your judges' scorecards, where we have a unanimous decision. All three judges scoring this contest 30 points to 27 in favor of your winner from Serbia. In the red corner, VELJKO ALEKSIC.
VELJKO ALEKSIC
And show
takes
your
the
appreciation
win.
for our brave runner-up, Antonio Budimir.
Unanimous decision.
Yeah, I think definitely the right call. That first round was close, but a clean sweep on all judges' scorecards for ALEKSIC. It makes sense for me. Great performance from this kid. And it, you know, again, 30-27, it was still a competitive fight. Budimir made it frustrating at many points. He had lots of good escapes. He was never out of the fight. Certainly asking questions of each other in my mind.
So as always, we're going to go and have a quick word with the winner. But a nice win, adding to his record. That's 2-0 unbeaten. VELJKO ALEKSIC from Serbia, enjoying the photo op. Miran Fabian in the audience there for any FNC fans spotting, coming off a recent loss against Stosic. But yeah, as I said, a few words.
Veljko, čestitke od srca, ali molim još jedan pljesak i za drugog mladića Antonija Budimira. Ljudi moji, ovi momci imaju 22 godine, a ovo je level MMA koji je nevjerovatan. Čestitam ti od srca, evo, prije smo se početka priredbe vidjeli iza i pitao sam te kako se osjećaš, rekao si nikad bolje i stvarno nikad bolje nisi izgledao. Evo, moram ti se nakloniti, ovo je jedan od najboljih, najtehnički naprednijih nastupa koji sam vidio dugo vremena u FNC-u. Svaka ti čast.
Hvala na lepim rečima. Pre svega, hvala Bogu na svemu. Drugo, hvala mojim banditima dole što su došli u Banja Luku da podrže najjače, braćo. Volim vas sve. Pozdrav isto za moju familiju kod kući koja gleda. Hvala Budimiru na meču. Hvala ti na pohvalama, ali ja iskreno mislim da je nastup bio na stranje. Ja sam puno samokritičan. Kad si me pitao kako sam, rekao sam ti da sam dobro, slagao sam ovo što sam inače ne laže stvar, nego ušao sam sa dosta povreda i hvala Bogu, prošlo je kako je prošlo. Budimir me iznenadio u stand-upu, iskreno, dužije nego što sam očekivao. Par puta me pogodio kad sam lošem iskalkulisao, ali moja predikcija na podu je bila kakva sam mislio da će biti. Nadam se da sam tu pokazao šta valja i nadam se da coach, da si ponosan, pogotovo na onih kredala.
Mislim da coach mora biti ponosan jer si učinio strašne stvari, pogotovo ako si imao ozljedu, nije se stvarno primijetilo, izgledao si kao da si u Matrixu. Pozicija po poziciju, bio si jednostavno ispred njega, bio si par puta blizu da ga završiš.
Da, ali svaka mu čast, baš je lepo branio 2 puta RNC, to je 3 puta, jedan ovde. Arm Triangle, Dars i Anakondu. Iskreno nisam očekivao, imao sam ovdje poziciju kad sam me baš lepo uhvatio, a pametan je lepo odbranio i to je baš bilo krivo, ali u principu da, bilo okej.
A i vruće, pa je sklizak, nažalost, teže je završiti. Ti imaš samo 2 meča, odnosno ovo ti je drugi profesionalni meč. Kako će se iskusni borci obraniti od ovakve nove generacije boraca koji stiže poput tebe?
Rukama i nogama.
Nikako, je li tako? Dame i gospodo, još jedan veliki pljesak za možda i najveću nadu na Balkanu kad govorimo o MMA-u. Veljko ALEKSIC!